On February 12, 1895, Ding Ruchang, commander of the defeated Northern Navy, agreed to surrender to the Japanese forces surrounding his Weihai naval base. Although inevitable, it was not a decision he could live with. Having given the order to surrender, he took his own life with a lethal dose of opium. Death, he believed, was the only honorable amends for the humiliation he had brought to the Qing Empire. Wise as you are, you know better than blaming the defeat of your country today on the emperor or its officers in the field. It's the result of a system that cannot shake off its old ways. So wrote his adversary, the Japanese admiral Ito Sakayuki, in an attempt to dissuade Ding from taking his own life. The Northern Navy, once the undisputed finest fleet in Asia, was no more. Its few remaining warships were taken as prizes by the victorious Japanese. A 30-year project had been sunk beneath the waves. The First Sino-Japanese War was just one more humiliation to be heaped upon China in the late 19th century. The survivors had no choice but to swallow their bitterness and find a new way to continue the struggle. April 1895 found the city of Foochow in mourning. Many of its sons, graduates of Foochow Arsenal Academy, had perished with the Northern Navy. White mourning banners floated on many a street. Sha Jianbing, who had studied at the Greenwich Naval College in London, was one of the survivors. He returned to Foochow, having been stripped of his rank and dismissed from imperial service. He turned to making a living as a private tutor for the children of the wealthy. The Qing court was quick to find scapegoats for the disasters that befell the Northern Navy. Not all its commanders had behaved gallantly, but the majority had, and many had died in answering the call of duty. Bending to public outrage, the court dissolved the Naval Ministry and its training academies. Surviving personnel were all dismissed. Officers from Fujian became particular targets of reproach or censure. In the face of the condemnation, Li Hongzheng defended himself and what he and his reformer colleagues had endeavored to build. I dedicated my life to building a navy, but unfortunately, what I built was nothing but a paper tiger. I never had the freedom to do things properly, the way they should be done. I was too busy just keeping up appearances. Li would once again shoulder the blame for the failings of a bankrupt system. When Emperor Guangxu called for a new maritime defense plan, Li Hongzhang gathered the remains of his officer corps in Tianjin. Among them were Sa Jianbing and Ye Zhugui. As was politic, the meeting was called first to reflect upon our failings. In Tianjin, Yan Fu, now in overall charge of the Northern Naval Academy, entered the most stressful period of his life. Most of those killed at Yalu River or Weihai had either been his classmates or his students. He would wake up shouting out loud in the middle of the night. Yan Fu was further incensed by the imperial court's decision to punish the surviving officers and seamen.
《甲午战争对中国人刺激最惨烈的第一人就是严复，因此严复的反应也是中国人当中反应最强烈的。他是最早发出这个就是一种愤怒的声音。
他就在思索说，为什么中国打不过日本？因为中国跟日本可以说是几乎相同的一个时间里呢，开始从事现代化的这个军事建设。中国有洋务运动，日本有明治维新。但是呢，严复后来想了半天，发现军事上的一个竞争背后有很深刻的政治、经济、文化的一个因素，所以他开始在这个思索之后呢，觉得真正能够解决中国问题的，倒不是在这个军校里面教这些具体技术性的一些问题，而是真正的改造中国思想。而改造中国思想最好的方法，他觉得就是引进西方最新的学术。
On February 4th, 1895, Yan Fu published an article in a newspaper which was founded in Tianjin by Li Hongzhang's German advisor, Konstantin von Hanneken. The article was entitled, "On the Exigencies of the Fast-Changing World." Yan Fu wrote, "China is in unprecedented danger. The way to China's revival is to introduce the concept of competition to spur innovation." He criticized China's conservative, backward-looking, hierarchical society and contrasted it with his experience of a forward-looking Western culture based on a principle of equality under law and a hunger for new knowledge. "15 years on from his return to China from Britain, this was the first time Yan Fu had ventured to promote Western concepts in a Chinese newspaper. In the following months, he published a series of political reviews to discuss the country's most pressing problems and their possible solutions.
如果是用最简单的话来概括这一组文章的话，那么可以用8个字，一个呢叫这个尊民贬君。第二个呢叫尊金叛国，总的归结就是说，近代中国要富强，治本的办法就是要这个培养新的这个国民。
民族如何振兴，走的是渐变的路子，啊，它根本的就是国民的素质，所以它有个三民主义，3个民，古民地、开明制、新民德。关键一个民族的优劣，就看他的民的民治如何。
Despite being one of the top graduates of the Foochow Arsenal Academy, Yan Fu did not become a naval officer like most of his classmates. Chen Baojian and Li Hongzhang had both hoped for something much greater for him. However, with no qualifications under the imperial examination system, there was no position for Yan Fu in the Qing's archaic and corrupt political system. Even as president of the Northern Naval Academy, Yan Fu was to learn that his position was too low to make his voice heard. Simply because he had received a Western education, he was viewed with suspicion by the imperial court.
他觉得他没有受到当局的重视，那这一点呢，大概是他最深刻的一个感受。因为他其实回来以后，他希望一展长才，但是他一直是留在学校当一个教书匠。那他也反复的思索，为什么自己不能够这个比较有发挥的一个这个位置，能够去做一些他自己想做的一个事情。那他后来总结到是说，缺乏科举功名。
你没有一个科举考试的这个正途出身呢，那么恐怕用最简单一句话说了，就是你的说的话呢，起不到公信力。
Between 1885 and 1893, Yan Fu had returned to his hometown on 4 occasions to sit the provincial exams, the first rung in the imperial examination system. In each case, he failed. He was unable to accommodate the rote learning of Confucian classics required for conventional success. In what is now a popular tourist district in central Tianjin, a statue of Yan Fu sits in front of his former residence. Every day, his erstwhile home attracts hundreds of visitors. After the defeat of the First Sino-Japanese War, Yan Fu spent 2 years translating Evolution and Ethics by the English biologist Thomas Henry Huxley. It was a selective translation that focused on the introduction and the first part of the book, combined with Yan's own comments.
科学里这本书原来是叫《进化论与伦理学》。而你看，严复翻译这本书的时候，最典型的反映了他的选择性。他选择的这个主要是侧重于进化论，他是想启发中国人或者刺激中国人要变革、要觉醒、要启蒙啊！如果你不觉醒，就要像中国现在在这个时代就会被弱强势、被人家强国给你给吞并，中国人叫亡国亡种，当时这样说。
当时他翻译的一个动机，其实不只是为了单纯的介绍西学，而是希望借着介绍西学来改造中国人的这个思想跟心灵。所以在这样子的一个动机之下呢，他在这个翻译的过程里面发现，如果不加上一些个人的注解的话，可能没有办法很顺畅的把西学跟中国的现况呢加以接轨。
His translation was published in 1897. It made an immediate impression on the country's leading reformers like Liang Qichao and Kong Yue, who were working with Emperor Guangxu. Kong Yue wrote of Yan Fu, "We have never seen the like of this man. He is surely China's foremost scholar of Western thought." The influence of Yan's translation lasted for decades. Foochow, the renowned scholar who led the new cultural movement of the early 1900s, said Yan's works ignited the fire in numerous young hearts. Yan's translation brought the language and concepts of both evolution and survival of the fittest to China, with profound consequences for the development of social and political thought in the country.
严复追求富强当中所传递的就是一个丛林法则，就是适者生存、残酷的竞争、资本主义早期。那么这个当然没问题了，但是我讲100年了，我们误读什么？我们仅仅读了这一块，我们忽略了一个问题什么呢？严复讲的竞争的同时，他马上就注意到，可能还有一个伦理的因素，就是我们还要注意到，就是竞争归竞争，但是仍然有一个人类的这种一个基本的伦理价值在追求。严复始终都在强调，就是经济的发展、国家的富强是第一位的，但是同时一定要注意到 国际的一般规则，要注意到伦理对这个社会的这种意义。但是我们的心情呢，我们在那个时候只赌他要富强，没有赌到他讲的这个层面，所以我讲可能是我们误读了严复100年。
In October 1897, Yan Fu and his friends established a newspaper, Gorwen Daily, in Tianjin. The purpose of this newspaper, Yan Fu explained, is to create common understanding between high and low, China and the world. He began to publish his translation of Evolution and Ethics in a newspaper. It attracted much interest among the literati and the educated classes. In the turn of the century reform movement, Yan Fu's newspaper played as important a role in North China as Liang Qichao's newspaper Current Affairs did in the South. Through them, reformist voices began to be heard in Chinese society. In May 1897, the Foochow Arsenal Academy received its first intake of students since the disasters of the war. Meanwhile, the court sent to Europe 6 graduates of the academy who had all been trained in French by Wang Shoucheng. Wang Shoucheng had graduated in law and French literature from the Paris University in 1885. He returned to Foochow that summer and met with Wei Han, chief engineer of the Foochow Arsenal. Together they read an article by Yan Fu, who called on all those who understood foreign languages to translate European and American novels or stories as a means to enlighten the masses. Wang Shoucheng decided to try, but he needed a partner well-versed in classical Chinese. Wei Han recommended his friend Lin Shu, a local scholar. In the days that followed, the 3 men would gather either at Wei Han's home or boating on the Ma River. There they would jointly translate La Dame aux Camellias by Alexander Dumas Jr. The working method was simple. Wang Shoucheng would translate the work orally, while Lin Shu would take it down in a classical Chinese, which was poetic and elegant. Lin Shu had recently become a widower, and his grief expressed itself in his words. In 6 months, the work was completed. With Wei Han's financial help, it was published by a local publisher in Foochow. It became a huge success all across China. Wang Shoucheng and Lin Shu became the first translators of French literature in modern China. However, as Wang Shoucheng was then transferred to Beijing to work on the Beijing-Hankou Railway, his literary collaboration with Lin Shu was brought to an end. After nearly 20 years as a diplomat in Europe, by the fall of 1897, Chung Ki-tong was established with his family in Shanghai. A celebrated figure in Paris society, he had written a series of books in French to promote a better understanding of Chinese culture. Now he and his brother also founded a Chinese language newspaper to help spread modern Western ideas in China. The Tsinghua University Library in Beijing has preserved in a bound volume editions of the Two Brothers International Review from 1897.
就像它的片名所告诉大家的是，它是实事求是，也就是说它比较平实，他的态度呢不是那么激烈，也不是很偏激，他跟梁启超等等其他人创办的报纸呢，他对于维新变法的主张呢相对来说比较温和。
In order to help the Chinese understand the laws and cultures of the West, Jun Qitong translated the Napoleonic Code and published it in the International Review.
陈诚认为，就是说，西方的之所以有当时的那样的繁荣，在19世纪那样的一个发展的状态，是跟西方的法律制度密切相关。中国要学习西方，除了技术层面要学习以外， 最主要的是要从法律层面来学习西方，建立一个制度化的一个国家。
After Chinese New Year in 1898, Yan Fu published his Public Letters to the Emperor, a series of his political essays analyzing the causes of and the solutions to the various crises China faced both domestically and internationally. The world has its constant goals, but the ways to achieve them are ever-changing, he proclaimed. His writings attracted the attention of the reformists in the Forbidden City. Some people spoke highly of him to Emperor Guangxu, who decided to meet with this famous scholar. On September 14th, 1898, Yan Fu had an audience with the emperor. Before his departure, he had prepared a proposal for submission to the throne. But at the last minute, he abandoned the idea.
你登在报纸上那些文章，自己满意的有几篇？ 也没有特别满意的，只是今年正月写了一篇《拟上皇帝书》，当时分6、7天在《国文报》上刊登，不知道皇上能有兴趣阅读吗？哦，他们还没有呈上来，你可以誊写一遍拿来，我想早一点读到。只是你文章大意说的是变什么法呢？大略是建议皇上在变法之前，先到国外去看看。 与各国联络感情，并且也要到国内各处走走，将百姓的人心归拢起来。唉，中国就是守旧的人多，这可如何是好呢？
我个人猜想是说，他其实知道说，当时光绪皇帝信任的是康梁，那他本身这个对于改革有一些跟康梁不完全相同的一些看法。 所以他写了这个《明上皇帝书》，但是最后觉得在觐见皇帝的时候呢，可能没有办法这个完全的这个让皇帝改变他的一个主张，所以他在跟光绪皇帝见面的时候，只简单的谈到希望光绪皇帝能够到国外去走走，了解这个国外的这个真实的状况，然后也让其他国家了解中国的一个情形。
The day after the meeting, Gorwen Daily published the conversation between Emperor Guangxu and Yan Fu, including the young emperor's long sigh. However, Yan was excited to see that the emperor was keen to learn about Western systems and that he was determined to reform. Yan decided to stay on in Beijing to finish his proposal.
严复啊，他是首先通过近代的媒体啊，这个造成了一个社会舆论。这个舆论呢，就是在引导变法朝着这个有利于中国发展的这样一个进程上。所以他这一次招对以后呢，尤其重要的是，就在北京的上层和中层以后呢，引起了一个极大的反响。比如说他在通义学堂，那很多人以后呢，都来听他来讲这个西学门径功用啊，这个影响呢，就使得西学的一下传播开来。
But even as the seeds of change found fertile ground, they were about to be washed away by a reactionary flood. The Empress Dowager Cixi, so long the power behind the throne, renounced her supposed retirement from public life. She orchestrated a coup d'etat with the ultra-conservative, anti-foreigner faction of the imperial court. Kang Yue and Liang Qichao fled the city, while 6 others from the reformist group were thrown in jail. The day after the arrests, Yan Fu rushed back to Tianjin and published the persecution of the reformers. It was a courageous but futile stance. Four days later, 6 leading reformists, including Tan Sotong, Lin Shu, and Kang Yue's own brother, Kang Guangren, were beheaded. Emperor Guangxu's 100 Days Reform had been crushed. The emperor was kept under house arrest for the rest of his life, on an island, on a lake, in the grounds of the imperial palace. He would never see Yan Fu's proposal. Two years later, in 1900, Yan Fu met 2 old friends, Ye Zhugui and Sa Jianbing, at his home in Tianjin. After their dismissal from the Navy, they were now being recalled to organize a new Northern Navy. They needed Yan Fu's help in compiling the textbooks for the new trainees. It was a bittersweet reunion. They couldn't help but remember their classmates, killed in the First Sino-Japanese War. All their lives had been dedicated to the service of their country, and they were willing to serve again. But they all seemed to realize that nothing could save the failing dynasty from its fate. All they could do was delay the inevitable.
到了1900的时候，当时的海军就是实力确实是已经衰弱至极。虽然在努力要弥补这一切，但是从甲午过去才过了3、4年时间，海军这种军种，它的建设到能形成战斗力这个周期啊，不是说1年2年的事情。所以西方有一种说法叫做100年海军，这种军种是需要一个长期沉淀、长期积累的一个军种。1895等于是一个外来的一个暴力，把我们的海军彻底的摧残掉了。我们仅有的一点保存下来的东西是什么？就是人，我们的人还在。所以到了1900的时候，尽管空怀着一腔那个热血，但是我们的实力就在那里。
In May 1900, the anti-foreigner sentiment that had been simmering in parts of North China broke out into the populist Boxer Rising. The government was split between those who supported the Boxers and those who were against them. So Xi fanned the flames of chaos by declaring war on the foreigners. As the Eight-Power Alliance occupied Beijing and Tianjin to suppress the Boxers, Yan Fu sought refuge in Shanghai. In May 1905, Ye Zhugui, commander of both the Northern and Southern navies, fell ill and died. By imperial decree, Sa Jianbing was appointed in his place. Sa was expected to build a new navy from next to nothing. In that same year, Yan Fu joined the Kaiping Mining Bureau. This gave him a chance to return to Great Britain, where he had studied as a young naval student. While there, he met with Sun Yat-sen, the man who was one day to finally bring about the downfall of the imperial system. Sun Yat-sen told Yan Fu that he had once dreamed of joining the Navy, but the defeat by the Japanese in 1895 made him realize that only a revolution could save China.
孙中山先生最后总结说：“这个君为思想家，我为实行家。”那这个大概是可以表现出这个两个人的这个不同的一个情况。那孙中山先生所走的是这革命的一个路线，那严复呢所主张的是一个改革的一个路线。那孙中山觉得呢，这个第一步必须用这个军事用武力的方式推翻清廷，但是严复呢觉得应该逐步的从事政治改革，从君主专制走向君主立宪。
In the years that followed, while Sun Yat-sen was busy organizing and raising funds for his revolution, Yan Fu dedicated himself to translating and writing. By 1909, Yan had translated Montesquieu's The Spirit of the Laws, Primer of Logic by William Stanley Jevons, A History of Politics by Edward Jenks, and John Stuart Mill's On Liberty. These, he believed, would be the key to reform in China. They were the pathway to opening the minds of the Chinese intelligentsia.
这个严复的演义名著，它是经过精心的挑选的，那么多西学，浩如烟海，那么多书，你要选什么？说明他对中国社会很了解，所以他介绍的那几本书，啊，包括这个社会学，我们看，用现在的语言说，有经济学的，有社会学的，有政治学的，有法学的，啊，这方面都有，并且呢，本本都是经典，确实是中国社会最需要的。
我觉得严复一生的一个使命是沟通中学跟西学，因为他本身其实就是一个中西文化冲击的一个产物，而他的翻译作品和他的所有的著作都环绕的一个目标就是汇通中西，希望把中学跟西学汇通起来，而为这个中国未来的发展建立一个思想的一个蓝图。那我觉得这个是他最大的心愿，也可能是他最大的一个贡献。
In May 1909, Sa Jianbing, as commander of the Guangdong fleet, ordered 2 steamships, the Fubor and the Qianheng, both made at the Foochow arsenal, to patrol the South China Sea, visiting island groups in the area. In the fall, Sa and Naval Minister Zai Shun visited Europe and America, hoping to acquire some of the new dreadnought battleships. While visiting the Royal Naval College, where he too had once studied, Sa Jianbing allegedly ridiculed himself, saying, "In this day and age, we're still attached to our pigtails. It's a joke, is it not?" A book entitled Wisdom in War by Harry Dickinson describes their visit. On Friday, the 26th of November, the commission headed by His Imperial Highness Prince Sai-Sen and Admiral Sa Jianbing, who had been a student at Greenwich some 30 years previously, visited the Royal Naval College. The visitors toured the laboratories and instruction rooms and later took tea in the President's house. All seemed to bode well for further closer cooperation. But in fact, little came of the visit. Within 18 months, the ruling dynasty in China collapsed, and its navy was dissolved as the country descended into political chaos. In February 1910, on the verge of the revolution, Yan Fu was named as naval advisor. 30 years after he completed his studies at the Greenwich Royal Naval College, he was finally given a role in China's national defense. He was also commissioned to write the words for a national anthem, China's first. It was to be a swan song for the Qing Empire. On October 10th, 1911, 6 days after his anthem, Gong Jiano, the cup of solid gold, was unveiled to the nation, gunshots were heard in Foochow City. The revolution of 1911 had begun. The Qing court ordered Admiral Sa Jianbing to lead his fleet to the Foochow section of the Yangtze River and open fire on the rebels. For Sa, this was a mission too far.
一方面，他是真的知道这条道路，就是革命这条道路是中国人应该走的一条道路，是正确的，所以他不忍心去压抑这个。但是为什么萨镇兵不登高一呼，自己把宝剑拔出来说我要起义造反了呢？也能看出，他这个人从那个很小的时候，10来岁的时候进入船政学堂，然后派到英国去，然后这么从舰长一点点的成长到最后南北洋海军总统这么一个高位置之后，他心里的一种就是 可以说是一种隐约的一种忠诚吧。
他毕竟是个红色的后代，让他亲手去推翻这个王朝，那么他心里可能会有一定的心理障碍，因此他选择一种离去，也是一种无奈的解脱。
Before he left his flagship, Admiral Saab bade farewell to his subordinates. I'm leaving, and the fleet is in your hands now. Whichever side you take is not a question for me. Immediately he left, his officers struck the colors of Qing's dragon ensign and joined the rebellion.
传政的学生也好，或者是传政精英也好，在他们身上呢有一种共通性。他们早期进入这个学校，可能有的时候不是自觉的，可能是被家庭送来的。这个学校给了他们在那个黑暗的时代唯一的、难得的接触到近代化、接触到新思想的一个机会。还有一点是非常有意思，他们虽然学的是工业，学的是军事，但他们每个人好像就走在时代前列一样，像是一把把火炬一样的，不由自主的把最先进的思想给灌输进来，而且去散发出去。整个中国近代史有很多个社会变革的选择关头，可以看到一个很有意思的现象，几乎在每一个的选择关头上，传政毕业出来的学子们，他们所选择的一个方向，都是通往进步的、通往光明的一个方向。
Although Yan Fu did not support the seizure of power through violence, he wrote a short poem in the aftermath of the Wuchang uprising. In 1912, Yan Fu would become the first president of Peking University. It was the fulfillment of his dream to impart knowledge, in that he now had direct access to the brightest and best. But as time went on, he found himself more and more at odds with his brave new world. He returned to Foochow to recuperate from illness, but passed away in October 1921, age 67. In 1913, after being closed for 6 years, the Arsenal Academy began to recruit again. It was now divided into two parts: Foochow Naval Engineer School and Foochow Naval Officers School. In 1915, Wei Han, the senior naval engineer, led a group of students to the United States to study aircraft and submarine design. In 1918, another school was established in Foochow to train aeronautic and submarine engineers. In 1919, they successfully completed China's first home-built airplane. In 1926, the three schools were merged, And the period of the Japanese occupation and Second World War saw the academy relocate to Hunan, then to Guizhou, and finally Chongqing. Post-war, it returned to Shanghai before moving in part to Taiwan in 1949. Today's Foochow Nautical College and the Naval Academy at Tainan sit on opposite sides of the Taiwan Strait. But they are both the inheritors of the great tradition of the Foochow Arsenal, an institution which produced so many great men who strove to build not just a navy, but a modern nation state. The role of the Foochow Arsenal Academy includes scholars like Yan Fu and Chun Ki-tong, admirals like Lu Bu-chan, Deng Se-chung, Yazu Gui, and Sa Jianmin, shipbuilders like Wei Han, Zheng Qinlian, and Wu Dezheng, mining engineers Lin Qingshang and Lin Rejeng, railway engineer Jan Tianyu, astronomer Gao Lu, radio experts Wang Daobin and Su Shuiyang, aircraft engineers Ba Yuzhao and Wang Zhu.